Okay, so
And
we're jumping into a deck doctor. For anybody who doesn't know out there, basically the way that it works is, my buddy Philly in here is going to take and give me an elevator pitch about his super rad Izuku Midoriya 2 deck. I'm very excited to hear about it, and we're gonna go through and we're gonna mess around with some numbers and see what we can accomplish. So hit me with it. What's the elevator pitch for your cool Midoriya 2 deck?
so for attacks, basically anything to set up into Tetsu Fist.
Okay.
Because Midoriya discards a card and your attack gets +1 speed, +3 damage.
Mm-hmm.
You've done that at all this combat phase, then it gets +2 speed.
Right.
So that's currently my idea for either the beginning or the end. Never in the middle. It just never works in the middle. Don't know why.
Okay.
Back alley haymaker. I'm mainly using to start. Mainly to either draw an extra card or pick up a 0 diff. I'll also use setup strikes to go into Tetsu Fist. And Texas Smash is just there for extra damage.
Love that. Hardened Jab. Looks like you're only 4 diffs. It's that in setup strike. I guess Texas Smash is also 4 diff. I never think of this card as a 4 diff because it always has to combo after a card. What are your thoughts on Jab?
Really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love that.
As I gotta say, as your rival, because I'm Hydrate Man. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've been thinking about that line for a while. That just didn't come out as cool as I thought.
No. Hydrate Man. Yeah. No. One of Marvel's worst villains. Yeah. I remember that guy. Damsel redeemed Hydra. I'm not drinking Damsel. So I think this tactical lineup looks very, very cool. I think the biggest thing that's suspect with it is you've got 12 high blocks in your attack lineup and you've got no low blocks. So we'll take a look here. Yeah, look at this attack. This high block. 26 highs, 17 mids, 13 lows. That's crazy to me.
I have realized that low blocks are I've been losing against the low attacks like Bakugo and Leaf Todoroki.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I think that is a really suspect way to play the game truly. So let's take in and look at the attacks that we have and see what low blocks we are doing. We've got Leaping Right Hook, but I think that card is bad. I think that card is bad.
Not a huge fan of that card.
We've got Reverse Throw. How is Reverse Throw not in this deck?
It's been a while. Hold on. Reverse Throw. Would you mind pulling it up?
Yeah, for sure. It is right here.
It is a punch. Okay. That is a very good question. I think I argued for it because I was building it with somebody else. But yeah, I just think I decided to do Hardened Jab instead.
Okay. So here's my thought, right? You said that Tetsu is a really good opener. It's a really good finisher, right? Like that's how you want to play the card. And I think that Reverse Throw is the exact same way. It's a really good opener, really good finisher. And so I think that we actually could just like take this down to like a 2 of, and even take this down to a 1 of, and then toss in 3 reverse throws. And then I think this card's going to close out a ton of games because it accidentally does 8 damage minimum, not to mention more whenever we Texas Smash, right? I think this card's really, really good, and then it still replaces that same card like we do with Back Alley Haymaker, right? It still gets that draw card. And it doesn't quite get the mileage that we do out of Tetsu Fist, but Tetsu Fist has a different job where it's like a powerful move, right? We've got EX and then powerful. And this card is only a 5/3 1 high block for 5 mid for 8. It's a 7 mid for 8, right? It's 7 mid for 8, but it doesn't redraw us the card. It doesn't redraw us the card. And this card's got a low block. This card's got stunning high blocks. But I think this is just going to round out our block zones just ever so slightly, right? Down to 16, 21. And I don't think you're going to lose a lot of advantage because of where your card is.
I see full calling in the sideboard.
Yeah, that is.
When I'm building this deck in real life, I do not have any.
Okay.
I also looked at it at TTS. I don't know. I don't like it because I'm mainly going to use Passing the Torch to pick up cards.
Sure. I think this card belongs in the sideboard, and I think it belongs. If you want to play Midoriya like hyper competitively, right? Which like you don't have to like reach the upper echelons. Kitchen table universes is fine too, right? I think you have to have this card in your sideboard because there are some characters that if their character is ready, you just lose. Like Nomu, right? I think Nomu is really hard for this character to get use out of his enhance, because like discard 1 card for +1 damage is like not a good exchange rate, right? Which just means that like half my character is not useful. If you force them to make a block happen, then something will change, you know?
Okay.
Like they have to change their play patterns. Actions and assets. I'm loving the triple go for the win. I love the triple capture evildoers. I think these are fantastic. And you're going to find a lot of value out of capture evildoers because of poking with reverse throw, stealing your momentum, and then being able to play an attack, capture evildoers, clear your pool, play an attack. Especially with back alley haymaker and reverse throw potentially redrawing you cards. Same thing with we're not playing the 5 to this. This after you discard a card, draw a card. Interesting. 54 cards. Did you not like that card?
The Jira one?
The Midoriya one. Any means necessary. 2/5, 5 mid block. Response after you discard this card during the enhanced step, draw a card. It says that like your ability for +1/+3 is free. It's very free. It also says like redrawing on things like Texas Smash is like really tight.
I think I just passed on it.
Okay, we'll put it in the sideboard. We can chat about it. Let's see if there's anything else. Gran Torino's cards are all bad. High value target evade and copy is a neato card for a sideboard. Aiming for number 1 not being in your deck is insane to me. This card is red. This card is really cool. This card is mandatory. Have you thought about putting coordinated F in your deck? Ha 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 ha.
You mean that one card that's never going to be playable again?
Correct.
I know.
That one. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the one we're talking about.
The one that I paid like $25 to,
to get a
not be able
playset?
to use it.
That's insane.
No, to get 2 playsets.
You got 2 playsets for 25. I guess that's not terrible. I mean, the card's kind of nuts, so I get it. Yeah, I don't know if I'd have made that choice, but I get that. All right, so here are the options that we have for cards that we could house in, but I think it's gonna be tough to find room for sure, especially keeping it as tight as we are. So,
dude, you're gonna disqualify me. Come on, sideboard. We talked about this.
So any means necessary is a if discarded redraw. That feels really, really good at making you not a 3-hand size character whenever you go to pop off, right? If I have double Tetsu Fist and a setup strike, if I want to play all of them and get the most out of my character, I get to play 3 cards on the turn without like any sort of redraw. Passing Torch is the only thing that gets us there. And so this card being able to just help us cycle, as well as having the life symbol ability to like push just a little bit further is rad. I think this card is very, very cool to help. I wish this didn't have a command character as a cost. I wish it was command character as an effect. That would make this card very cool. It's already got a Anyways, I think this card is very, very rad, and I think it. I don't know if it needs to be in your deck because I mean we do have draw, we do have draw. It's just I think the card is good, but I can see shying away from the 5 mid block. You know.
I'd say probably a 2 of.
2 of. Let's toss it in. I'm into it. Evade and copy.
I think I want to.
Go ahead.
I think I want to bring up one attack, back up, back alley, leads to a 3 of. I'm just reading the enhance. I really love it, dude.
I don't know why it wasn't a 3 of. I think I misclicked. Back alley haymaker is good enough to be an ultra rare. I don't
stun too.
I misclicked to make it a 1 of. I'm so sorry.
No, you're good, man.
Yeah. Block and evade, it should be in your sideboard. Just letting you know that it's there. Aiming for number 1 should be in your main board at a 1 of. I think every set 2 character that can play it needs to be playing this card. It's not fair. This is one of the crazy not fair cards. There's a ton of draw that's happening all over the place. In fact, like your deck wants to do it, and so you being an X hand size or 6 plus X hand size character is very good, but being a 6 plus X minus 1 hand size character is slightly worse. Slash being a 6 plus 2 hand size character on your opponent's turn to like help you refuel to block whenever you go all out, you put your back into it, is necessary in this aiming for number 1. I think you have to put this card in your deck, man. I think it's so good. 3/5 with a 2 mid block. That's like all around good. You're not even playing 2 checks. This card's so safe to play. You should be playing it.
Yeah.
Aiming, manly friendship and self-sacrifice kind of do the same job of what we're looking for, and that is to take these odd attacks like back alley haymaker whenever you Midoriya and you make them an 8 damage evened move, you then manly friendship to push it up to an odd number. So if they half block, it does that bonus 1 extra, right? So instead of blocking and taking 4, they block and take 5, which feels great, especially with reverse throw. Being able to push this up from a 5 to an 8, and then they partial block, you now get to draw your card off of the reverse throw because it dealt 5. Manly friendship does it once per turn, and has a little bit of once per turn, but at no cost. Self-sacrifice is not once per turn, but it does have the destroy the foundation cost. I think this card, one of these cards, should exist in your deck at a 3 of somewhere. And even if that means like we take out 1 manly passionate guy, we take out 1 high value target in order to fit some slots to keep your block zones appropriate, we should do that.
I think self-sacrifice is great for the blocks. I just hate destroying foundation.
For sure.
Manly friendship reminds me of that Eraserhead card when a combo enhance. You know which one I'm talking about, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I'd play that one.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll toss this in. Celebrity status is a really cool flow card because of how much draw power you have on your face. Accidentally hitting with a reverse throw on like a poke turn, and then playing celebrity status whenever you back alley haymaker, and then just ripping the card right off the top feels really good. Or like using celebrity status in conjunction with passing the torch, or using celebrity status in conjunction with destined for mainstream success, which I think also is like a crazy card that you're not playing. It might just be the fact that like we found better, more interesting mid blocks to round out our things, but this card makes stringing a lot safer because you just constantly name attack and then either check that there's a 5 on top, or you add an attack to your hand. And adding any of these attacks to your hands feels fantastic. Feels very good.
I think celebrity status maybe at a 2.
Celebrity status at a 2 of. Okay. Now we're adding a lot of things, and we're gonna have to go through and cut some stuff if we want to toss these. Pull no punches. I demand that you put in your sideboard at a 2 of because it has deadlock pressure, and you have to have the deadlock pressure. You're gonna find
completely okay with the sideboard. I hate that card though.
Yeah, it has to exist just so that your opponent, so you can try to break a deadlocked wall. As soon as you see this card and you like the reason you put this in, you just never use the top enhance. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. unless it's some crazy move like you play an attack, you move on to like a back alley haymaker, you pull no punches, celebrity status, redraw it with back alley. I think that's the only time that you ever get to like play the enhance on this. Just having the deadlock threat of this card is just good enough to break through walls. Note taking. I love note taking, but it might not be as good of a card as something like a high value target, which is the slot that it takes up, right? Like this card's just like an aggro card, and this is a defense card. So if you feel like you have enough aggro going on with Midoriya, then you don't need to cut this card for this card. But this card saying discard a card, flip one foundation for +3/+3 is just like a good exchange rate. It just feels good doing that. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
We already talked about sacrifice. We already talked about deaths for mainstream success, and that's really all the things that I can maybe even potentially want to add to your deck, right? Which we're all the way up to 64 foundations, or 64 cards, which means we need to cut some stuff down, right?
I want to add note taking.
Okay.
Maybe because I'm having a problem with speed.
Okay. So I think what we do is we maybe take some of these 3-ofs and we make them closer to 2-ofs, right? So Specialist of Sound and High Value Target are actually kind of the same card. And so we could easily take Specialist down to a 2-of, take this down to a 2-of, and now we found 2 of the 3 slots for our note-taking. Manly Passionate easily gets to be a 3-of. Say again?
I have not been seeing the value in High Value Target recently because it's just never been built. And I'm just...
Okay. Is that because you're not choosing, you have one on board and you're not choosing to value it with Midoriya, or are you just not drawing them, or?
I'm just not drawing them.
It is tough to want to cut a card because you're not drawing it, because like that's just chance, right? But if like you're dying with the card ready on your board and you feel like you could have used the abilities on the card, that's when you really get to say that it's a more of a low value target. Ha 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 ha. Know what I mean? So I would maybe toss in. I would maybe keep this guy in here just because it's worth. It's worth continuing to test with us being so new to the set. Tiaki Fanatic, tell me about this card. It's a 3-of in your deck. That's a lot.
I completely want to drop it. I'm gonna be honest. It's built all the time.
Yeah.
I never use it.
Okay. I mean,
it sucks.
If we're not going to use it, then we should definitely discard it. I think that the deadlock enhance on this card is insane in our character. It's nuts.
It's just I never get the deadlock enhance.
I think that we should probably keep it at a 1-of, just so that like in case somebody tries to use an ability on a foundation to like put our damage to 0 or something like that, right? Like we get to just stop it as like a bit of disruption for our turn. I think being at a 1-of is totally fine, which just cut us down to 62 cards. What's the number you're looking for here?
Mid 50s, like 55 to 57.
Okay, 55, 57.
I think I can take down.
We're looking for mids and highs to cut. That's the goal. I'm seeing Bonds of Friendship and Good Impression could each be dropped by 1, and I think that we wouldn't miss them. I think this card at a 2-of is actually perfect. When I played it in Midoriya 1, I'm pretty sure this was a 2-of. And that's even with like the options that we have, with the limited options that we have in set 1. And so I think adding more cool options, things like new training method, adding things, yeah, I think it does not need to be the 3-of. Otherwise, we just take new trading method down to a 2-of because it's a 4-check, or 1 of each. We could toss 1 of each.
I take down Good Impressions by 1.
Okay.
New training method by 1. I keep Bonds of Friendship out of 4 because I really like the 6-check.
I love that. That is a compromise to me. So we're at 60. So we got like what, 3 more cards. I think the goal is to maybe cut 1 more high and then maybe like 2 lows. And I think that might be where we're at.
You meant mid, right?
That is what I meant. I didn't mean to say mid. So
just new training method. I always build it, and I forget to build another card because I always build all my cards.
That is That is fair. That is fair. I'm thinking maybe the answer is we take out the aiming and put it in the sideboard if we're determined to get to this mid 50s spot. I think we might just need to keep this because we can't cut passing. I think cutting celebrity is not great. We're not allowed to cut.
Maybe.
It can't be fixed because it's one of our only targets with back alley if we need to build instead of draw. Actually, I think it is the only target that we have.
It is.
So I think if we had to cut anything, I think it actually is a manly down to a 2 of and aiming completely gone. And I think 58. I think this might be what I would go with and test and be like, I didn't enjoy this card. I do enjoy this card, and so we can mess around with it from here.
If we actually build the sideboard?
I
know that's very rare, but
I'm down to give suggestions for the sideboard, but I don't know about hard building it, right? If I were to build a sideboard, it would probably look something like this.
What's that new 0-cost Midoriya?
The battle hardened or something like that. Battle resolve.
Yeah.
I think that card is cool. I do not think it is necessary. Okay, so we're at 6 cards here. I think this being a 2 of, maybe even a 3 of, might be what gets us there. If I had to build a sideboard for Midoriya right now, what would I do?
I see that you added 2 pull no punches.
It did not mean to do that.
Yeah.
We get to do this. We get to do...
There was a foundation that I liked in... what's his name? The short guy, Gran Torino. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a foundation I liked in him. It was... going out to fight some villains.
Okay. Just for a little minus speed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, it's minus damage.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I was thinking maybe on the sideboard.
It could be. It is a 4 high block, which I think is a little spooky, right? And we've already got 2 more. This should be at a 2 of, so I'm gonna have to cut 1 card. It's annoying.
I was really thinking about playing Battle Resolve.
In the sideboard?
The sideboard or main?
If you go into the main, it means that we have to take out a bunch of mid blocks, right? Which we do have a lot of, right? We're at 21 mids. We could do. I don't think that we get quite enough value out of that card. Personally, I don't think it's very good. We're playing 3 back alley haymakers, which makes the card way better. But we're not playing like the grab that like counts it. And I think committing the 2 foundations for the +3 speed is like not really worth it. It feels cool in Midoriya to build them, but I think there's just like better options. Like no taking is just a better version of that card, right? Flip for +2 is way better than commit 2 for +3. And we already have things like specialists. We already have things like a high value target in order to help us with our blocks. So, sideboard wise, if I were to sideboard, and this would be like my first impressions of a sideboard, it'd be these for characters that need their characters ready. Things like Todoroki 1, things like Todoroki 2. I guess not Todoroki 2. Things like honestly, like Tetsu, right? I'll put Tetsu and All Might 3 in the sideboard. I think All Might 3 and Midoriya 2 are peanut butter to jelly. They're so compatible with each other. And I think the same thing with Tetsu. The fact that we are playing Tetsu Fist is phenomenal. It's very, very good. And if we need to be a little bit more defensive, then we just get to just slot him in.
So I'm thinking if I swap to Tetsu, I just like swap in 2 more Tetsu fists for like maybe setup strikes or.
I don't even think you need to do that. I think you just leave the Tetsu fist where it is, and then just like be happy that you've got the Tetsu enhance on it, right? Because it's in Tetsu fist inside of Tetsu is just 2 more copies of Back Alley Haymaker, right? Because it gets 2 speed instead of stun 2, and then it draws a card and builds 1, as opposed to draws a card or builds 1. Like in Tetsu, this is just a better version of this card, right? And a better high block. Like this, playing both of these in Tetsu are fucked up. And so like,
I assume the building would be lit, right?
Build the top card of your deck, period, as opposed to building a 0 diff out. So you build a ready one in. And this is, you only get to, with Back Alley Maker in our deck currently, we're only getting to build It Can't Be Fixed, which is a good card, but pulling the punches for Deadlock. You're so obvious to reset damage or speed, and then it's low blocks, and so this is where I would start. And then Evade and Copy is a good mid block to it's essentially set 2s plus Ultra, right? And so we just get to play 2 of this card in our board and be fine. If we don't need it, we discard it.
Never, I guess, don't play plus Ultra in any set 2 character.
Any is subjective. I think Void characters might be able to get away with it because they don't have access to Evade and Copy, right? But I think the all good life symbols should be playing 2 copies of Evade and Copy in their sideboard, just like everybody plays 2 copies of plus Ultra in their sideboard now.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Hey, you're welcome, buddy. Thank you for the support over on Patreon. I appreciate it.
All right.
All right. Let me
have a good night.
Hit you with the list, and you have a good one, okay?
Yep.
Peace.